이번 플레이오프 경기 뛰는 건 처음인데 아마 좀 긴장 좀 많이 할 것 같아요. 저희 프로 경기를 위해선 제가 요즘 수면 시간이 좀 많이 부족해가지고 수면 시간 좀 늘릴 생각입니다.
Welcome back, everyone. Flawless talking about not getting enough sleep, but it seems like Rogue Warriors might have been sleeping on their play week in 9, and now they have woken back up in this game 1. If that is any indication, BLG could be in some trouble.
They may have awoken the giant inside here from Rogue Warriors. The new patch seems to be adjusted towards. It didn't look like Flawless had any nerves himself, respectively, as well. Honestly, he had an outstanding game number 1, monitoring where the cannon minion was, the banner of command specific one, even preventing small amounts of damage to turrets. His positioning was also immaculate, so very well done from him in that first game.
It was a clean execution from Rogue Warriors, but now we have to look to their opponents, BLG, and hope that they can clean up their execution coming into this game 2.
Yeah, the first thing you have to look at for BLG, and the desk mentioned that it wasn't a draft problem explicitly, it was more of an executional issue, and I do agree with that completely. But I think there are ways that you can draft to combat the executional errors. So, as an example, if the Morgana spell shield isn't being used effectively, and that's not something you can change in the middle of a set, then you put a priority on the Xayah Rakan. You don't pick the Morgana for yourself, and we haven't seen the best looking Morganas out of Road individually when it comes to team fighting.
Yes.
He'll hit the binds, but he doesn't always have the spell shield placement at the correct time or the ultimates at the correct time. So I do think that they should be looking towards the Xayah Rakan themselves and perhaps force something different out of Rogue Warriors with their respective bottom lanes. And if we swap sides of the Rift, so they're on red side, that's what you're looking for.
BLG, with that side choice priority, appear to have selected red side. We'll see as we get closer to these picks and bans whether or not that's the case. That will put Rogue Warriors on blue this time around. We already know Kai'Sa is a huge priority, but getting into this next round of picks and bans, BLG on that red side, what do they try to look towards? What do they try to ban away to prevent such a clean execution from Rogue Warriors in this game 2?
See, that's the hard thing. I don't know if there's anything in the ban list that they will explicitly want to change. If you banned Kai'Sa on blue side, then you may not be confident first picking it for yourself.
Yeah.
And there may be a higher priority champion, especially after that first game being a best of series. They may put a higher priority over the Xayah and the Rakan. And there's a chance that they actually ban one of those two away, because on blue side, Rogue Warriors could just pick the Xayah. And they'll have no problems then. You'll have to either force the Rakan away from them and pick the Kate Morgana yourself. And that's the one thing that we said perhaps they don't want to do. So I feel like this side select shift has actually caused some issues with the bans, because I don't think the BLG want to remove the Kai'Sa, the Ryze, or the Tahm Kench. Those three are incredibly powerful.
And opens up a lot of avenues for both of these teams to make plays. And we know there are plenty of playmakers in this match of these 10 people about to enter onto the Rift once again. Question is, where does it all begin? Coming into this game 2 was bottom lane priority from that game 1, but the mid-jungle 2v2 that opened it up and allowed the swift finish from SMLZ.
I'll give you the answer. It's meant to be Sejuani. We'll have to see whether Sejuani gets explored here further. I thought the Trundle was sound. I thought the Skarner was questionable in terms of execution. The champion itself was not. I do think that the Sejuani is something that makes it all just that little bit easier for literally everybody.
We heard you talk about it just a little bit before in that draft in game 1, but now we're going to find out about this game 2. Now, Kai'Sa Trundle has been banned away, and Karma from BLG. So 2 reactionary, 1 predictive for the Rogue Warriors.
Tahm Kench being available is the one that I think we have to mention first. We talked towards the Sejuani, sure, it's going to be a very relevant option, but you leave open Tahm Kench, you leave open so many availabilities for Rogue Warriors to be roaming around the Rift, and you cannot give that to BLG. So it's interesting that this is the way that it's panned out. The ban shifts were intentional. The Tahm Kench is intentionally locked in, but do BLG have the answer readily available is always something that has to be brought into question. What do they pick into the Tahm Kench now?
Yeah, you've mentioned the Xayah Rakan is an option for BLG if they want to prioritize that bottom lane, but Sion will be locked in right away, and they don't have to pick their support right away. The question is, do they take the Xayah here or prioritize that Sejuani?
They could definitely look towards the Xayah now and go for the 3rd pick of the Rakan. No problems. It's a higher priority on the Sion, so that would make a lot of sense. But at the same time, they know the matchup that they're against. And if they choose to go something a little bit more specific, Jin Zhao is a Jin God. He's aptly named. It's one of the few champions that he could be looking towards. He's also known for his Sivir, his Ezreal, his Caitlyn. He's got a bunch of things there.
He does, but he is going up against SMLZ, the sniper of Rogue Warriors, the sniper of the LPL. He takes a little bit of time to set up his shot, but once he's lined up and firing, there is nothing you can do to get out of his crosshairs.
A part of me would even like to see something along the lines of the Varus in this game, for the Tahm Kench Varus to be a duo. Right now they've gone towards an earlier rotation on their jungler, and there is the Varus, and there is the Olaf.
It's almost like you've done this a lot, Rusty.
I am a big fan of Rogue Warriors, if you didn't know.
Rek'Sai this time is the very early priority from Chieftain. This is a bit interesting. So far, he's played it twice, has a 100% win rate on the champion with a KDA of 14. But we'll have to see how it works into the composition this time around, especially with that Jhin locked in, perhaps setting up some long-range engages or flanks from BLG.
This gets me feeling like Road's got some tricks up his sleeve, you know, giving a later rotation towards BLG's support when Road has so many options available, mages, tanks, whatever it is, you name it. He's also an absolute god at Thresh. Now, you may not want to be Thresh because the Tahm Kench is already locked. In fact, he doesn't get it. I am so far inside the head of Rogue Warriors, I'm accidentally calling the bans.
You're there as it's happening. All right, Cho'Gath, what's next? Keep it coming.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Fortune teller. You're under pressure now?
It's too much pressure. I'd still ban another support personally away from Road, but I have no idea where he would be looking at in the support role because he has so many champions.
Well, Doinby's Cassiopeia could still be an option. Instead, they're going to be taking it away from Mole to perhaps allow more opportunities for Doinby to play some sort of flex. Now, Galio is still a pick. We've seen that style played from both of these mid laners before, but is this where things change up for BLG? Janna? Or that Rakan.
Most expected would still be the Rakan. You don't necessarily need the Xayah to be there. Road as a player does seem to have a preference towards engaged style of champions, and Rakan, whilst he is committal with his direction going forwards, can be back out straight away after, so can weave himself in and out of team fights incredibly well. Now this is a champion that was banned away from Rogue Warriors in game number 1 by BLG, and something that we haven't really seen from Doinby whatsoever. I was expecting something a little bit different.
That is such a terrifying combo, though. Olaf runs into the jungle, then Galio comes in from above, then Tahm Kench brings in Varus, and we don't even know what Mouse is taking yet. Oh, yeah, get in there.
That's
the five-man mob squad.
That's what you would pick if you want to work with your Olaf and have some level 6 aggression into the enemy side of the map. This would be a more conventional team fighting choice for you as well. And the Scion has been removed from him. He could pick the tank matchup. And if you're looking at the tanks with Ornn gone, Nara is one of the better bullies that does seem to usually do quite well into Scion, though if you're watching the LCK finals, you know what can happen to certain people if you make mistakes in that matchup.
We'll see what the answer will be from BLG, though, as counterpick is passed over to Mole, the rookie mid laner for BLG, the replacement to Athena, the sleepy Korean. And while we haven't been able to see a spectacular performance from him, from Athena lately, as he has been almost completely replaced by Mole, he will be playing a similar champion on that Taliyah. But there is plenty of mobility from BLG to try to match that of Rogue Warriors. As Rusty, have they ended up with a platypus of a composition again? Just a handful of hodgepodge pieces coming together?
I personally think that platypus are wonderful creatures.
They are.
That means that their composition, as a result, is still wonderful, Dom. So,
absolutely.
No, I do think it's a bit of a mix and match. I feel like the Jhin Rakan looks a bit out of sorts. There's no real combo there, but they were apprehensive towards the Morgana. You can tell that for certain by they forcing the Rakan. Now, I think that BLG as a draft have shored up a lot of their strategic, perhaps, problems, and they've changed the way that they want to play as a style, which feels more reminiscent of what they usually do. They've got a tank in the top lane, someone who can engage or flank. They've got the ability to roam from the middle lane as well with the Taliyah, and then work with his jungler of the Rek'Sai, so their 2v2 skirmish is quite strong. When you look towards the bottom side of the map, that's where it's a bit wishy-washy with the draft, but Rakan is good for Road, and Jhin is good for Jin Zhao. And individually, they feel much more comfortable coming into this second game.
Perhaps taking a step back from complicated strategies and instead playing towards the player's individual comfort levels, especially against a team such as the Rogue Warriors, a team of misfits who have now gone on the revenge tour quite successfully and find themselves in their first split in the LPL with a quarterfinal seed, getting even closer to semifinals as they are now 2 games away from getting to chase Edward Gaming all the way up to the top.
The Rogue Warriors are set to succeed at the very least in this set. BLG, the ones on the back foot, no momentum for them. They have to start from square one. And after the game one issues that they suffered with, the executional issues that they suffered with, they really needed to go backstage, do some meditation, and prepare themselves for this one. As Rogue Warriors, when they've got momentum, when that ball is rolling, they do not slow down.
It is a very swift defeat. But that being said, we have loaded onto the Rift for Game 2. There they go. Perhaps just taking that game one as a matter of fact for BLG. We don't need to cheer. They're going to win. They 2-0'd their series against JD. We don't need to give them emotional support for game two.
It's all right. They're warmed up now.
They're
good to go. They've got the yells in.
The crowd had to warm up. Exactly. But
Both
Flawless
teams did.
will step forward and get a ward. We do have defensive lines from the two once again. We'll see where our junglers start this time around.
Flawless with his signature Predator that he does love to run. Of course, it's fine to have it on Olaf. It's just that we've seen him with the Kha'Zix and everything lately. He's a big fan of the old Predator, and of course, across from him is Press the Attack Rek'Sai, who does have that Q auto-attack reset, so can often proc that one. It also increases the clear speed usually for any Rek'Sai just having attack speed from the precision tree, which means it's nice to actually do things like the Raptors, as he is faking a leash.
He is. Chieftain is actually solo leashing at blue. There is a ping towards top from BLG, and the bottom lane from BLG also started very close to lane.
They started pretty much in lane, so they showed themselves early. Amazing J came to lane with full health anyway, so he might have wanted to tank one more. At least he showed up a little bit late regardless. And I think the end result of this is that they should be unlocking Chieftain to move. He may run a little bit low on health, but again, having the precision tree may actually accelerate his clear. And as a result of the accelerated clear, actually makes you quite healthy as the Rek'Sai. So through the jungle he will go, and I would expect it's a top lane gank that he actually looks towards.
Very well could be Mouse taking precision. And of course that bone plating and Chrysalis in the top lane. But look at this, Flawless. He's already playing it nice and intelligent. He's going for the scuttle. He went for full clear top side.
Yeah.
Could be trying to keep his top lane safe. There's no way he knows. How on earth would he know?
He's about to find out exactly
Well,
where
there he goes. Now he sees
regardless.
him. Now he knows. And that's already level 3 versus level 3. Flawless is low. He trades it back, and Flawless smites onto the camp. Flashes for a follow, but first blood to Mole.
Mole just gets there too quickly, makes the difference. The Raptors also playing their part in being the MVPs there. They don't get the kill for Rogue Warriors, as close as it was. And usually rule number one is never fight a low health Olaf, just standing there and delivering. But they navigate around that very well. They do net themselves the early kill.
And not only is it the early kill, it's the early kill onto Talia. Chieftain gets himself some refreshed blue buff off the back, and his red is still up too.
Now there is some important things you have to note. It was a full half clear from Flawless. He was only on the blue side, so he has a full jungle to actually go back towards. Now whilst that is good for the Olaf in terms of his clearing and the ability to stay, a little bit higher in experience and farm, they know exactly where he is. They saw him come level 3 with a blue buff. They're pretty aware. There's already a ward now in place as well to spot him from Mole. They know exactly where he's going to be, and Chieftain now has the freedom to move as he would please. But the same thing applies on the opposite side. It's actually Chieftain who did a full clear on his own blue side, so it was almost mirrored.
But look at how Mole is still tracking Flawless. The Hunter jungler steps in after clearing the ward, pushing Doinby away and forcing that teleport, then using Scryer's Bloom to spot the Olaf and ensure that if he is unlocked, we know where he's going. We know what's next from him. Still, though, a defensive ward from Mouse means he's free to be pushed in by Amazing J up top, something that Amazing J is probably pretty happy about.
Yeah, it was a nice little ward there placed to spot out where Chieftain is, but Mole coming up with him. The ward will still spot both of them, and it is only a level 5 Talia. So this may just be a wash in the end, as unfortunately that also doesn't reveal anything.
Very clever placement from Mouse. That means Chieftain will get the invade onto the Wolf camp. Mouse gets to keep farming on the far side. Flawless just waiting for that respawn timer.
He's got the timing nailed, even though it was in the opponent jungle, so he's there at the right time.
And that's just the intelligence of Flawless as a jungler for how he fits in the team. Didn't see his jungle start of his opponent, but figured it out just by doing the math of where that Rek'Sai was.
Rhodes actually been pretty heavily pressured out of this lane as well, and with no Rakan to stand in front and have any kind of pressure, Jhin usually starts to suffer. Varus does push quite hard, You're starting to see the makings of a very strong 2v2 dynamic start to unfold for Rogue Warriors.
SMLZ and Kahlua, they're not up in CS just yet.
But it is boots for Jin.
Yes.
So that does have to be noted that they won't have as much trade potential. He's rushing the boots first, and he still has 3 potions remaining. Road also has the unsealed spellbook again. So the second Rakan, we've seen the second spellbook. And the CS being even means that they've actually navigated a losing lane through the early stages quite well.
For now, it's close to even between the two as the wave crashes in. Jin Zhao is actually going to be at a CS lead if he gets these new 2 next minions. And that's also teleport from Killua as SMLZ just happily holds his own in this lane. Still, though, Chieftain, he's not done on the map just yet. He was thinking about heading mid lane to look for a gank onto Doinby, but instead we'll just finally invade onto Raptor Camp as it gets close to respawning.
Lots of pressure still in the top lane, however. Amazing J doing very well navigating this lane. We barely saw it in the first game. They were simply just teleports that were coming down to assist the rest of their team. But this time around, there is some actual pressure, a noticeable CS difference in BLG's favor for Amazing J. And we've seen a lot of movements from the junglers. The mid lane is working in tandem as well, but for what it's worth, when the team compositions really start to come online, I'd be looking at Rogue Warriors having a very obvious compositional strength. Once again, the Tahm Kench moving with a Varus, having an Olaf and a Galio as a combo, and having Nar for team fighting and split push. They'll love themselves some 5v5 still. They will still have that as a major strength. BLG's disjointed style of composition is still very good at catching people out of position, especially with the Jhin and the Talia. But there's only 2 damage sources on that composition overall, and so those 2 need to stay ahead. And for the most part, all of BLG's focus right now is getting through that early game, ensuring that if nothing else you are even, and then translating that to items so that they still have a strong team fight.
And this is where we see the constant tracking. Mole stepping in with Chieftain to place forward wards and spot out Flawless. Flawless and Doinby doing the same on that top half of the map. Still a control ward from Rogue Warriors onto the blue buff of BLG. Another one to spot Flawless as he heads over to pass blue buff over to Doinby. So just constant information being traded between the two to make sure that this laning phase can continue as safely as possible.
Of course, getting these blue buffs, it'll be a little bit earlier here for Doinby. Side of Rogue Warriors does open up some control of the middle lane. Mole, however, has already started to set up the next wave so that he's free to get the blue. So everything actually equalizes through majority of the map currently. It's all about that first big step. Who gets 6 first in the jungle position, which is actually Flawless already, and who's able to utilize those ultimates and those level 6 marks to make some plays.
Yeah, even despite the death that Flawless suffered, he's still 14 CS ahead. Fully completed ninja tabbies with Predator, along with his Skirmisher's Saber, as Mouse just trades it off with Amazing J. He's got Merc Tread, so he's actually pretty free to chase this down. Lands the boomerang. Oh, that's going to be a knockup. And doesn't chase with that hyper.
Still a nice little trade. Being in Mini Nard does empower Mouse just a little bit more so than being in Mega form. There's no point being angry against the Scion. He's just going to soak it up as a tank.
Who do you reckon gets angrier, Meganar or Scion?
I'm going to have to say Meganar because he literally transforms into angry mode.
Well, yeah, Scion turns into a train, though.
Yeah.
Do you think that's powered by happiness and love? Oh, man. Yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine has some words to share with Amazing J about that Scion play, but still, it's just farming across the map. No big excitement outside of that early aggression as Vision is still being placed down by Rogue Warriors. They're actually putting a lot of wards on this bottom half of the map here, perhaps to enable SMLZ and Killua.
There's no real teleport wards just yet. In fact, Flawless is about to walk around the bottom lane and perhaps place one. He's setting himself up for the area. In fact, it was just pinged by Rogue Warriors a couple of seconds ago. Look at Flawless. Started stepping forwards. He's on.
The control ward, Undertow. It's a quick 300 damage onto Road. Reckless swings. He's going to do quite a bit, but the wave is crashing in, and Doinby is already heading bottom.
Exactly. The Galio is very close to ult range as well, and immediately everyone from BLG starts to rotate. Doinby is about to show himself in mid, so Rogue Warriors have to back away, but this opportunity, this look in towards the bottom lane and this chance to push it in more may only be 300 damage to the outer turret, but it's still damage to the outer turret that can be meaningful if the push happens one more time. And it seems like Rogue Warriors, they've set themselves up with where they want to be, and they're getting closer and closer to just putting the foot down.
BLG are trying to respond, though. They're keeping their hands over their head, not letting that foot come down on top of them, as it's just wave after wave being cleared by Jin Zhao. And Mole and Chieftain still holding the fort with that 2v2 duo. Road trading with Kahlua to maintain constant vision, constant vigilance. And it's actually working out in BLG's favor. They're 1,000 gold ahead right now. A lot of that is the kill onto Mole and the CS advantage for Amazing J.
There's definitely a significant amount of difference through Mole once he gets the completed items, but he's pretty far away from that. In saying that, Doinby also rushes the Merc Tread, so he's fully defensive, all about mobility. That is a teleport from Kahlua. No one freak out.
Isn't it, though? Under the turret, taking 1, 2, 3 turret shots to get back into lane and immediately burns all of his refillable charges.
Thankfully, he has a refillable potion, or that would have been the least efficient thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
He also has the relic that he's able to get some stacks here and there, but really didn't need to do that.
Yes.
Still chose to do that to just keep it tanking for a little bit longer, maybe stop to a CS being cheeky from his opponent, but he was made to pay for it. Wasn't worth it.
I believe there's still a ward in that brush right behind him, too. Maybe it's just Kahlua making a statement like, I might be a rookie as well. Look at what I'm doing. Flawless, meanwhile, soloing the dragon. That's an ocean dragon, too, so even more beneficial to Rogue Warriors for this extended laning phase. Doinby's even coming down to cover him. Just constant vision from Rogue Warriors on this bottom half of the map.
Great little look in from Flawless to be able to secure himself the Drake. And you mentioned the vision. You can see the 2 control wards there that is completely unlocking Flawless to go from the Raptors to the Drake. They've set themselves up nicely to succeed through that objective. And at the same time, top lane's starting to bounce back a little bit. A bit more control going over to the side, who have all just rushed themselves some Merc Treads. They are trying to sustain through laning phase through their ability to kite and have the boots upgraded early. And they want to extend that lane phase towards getting those major item spikes. And you point out that the Ocean Drake does help with that, and that is very true. But you have to look past that point, because you can only lane for so long before something has to give. And I still think that point is the bottom lane of BLG.
Mountain's even being pulled down to help defend this tier 1, but it is getting lower and lower with every wave that crashes in. Flawless on the invade.
Did you say Mountain?
Did I?
Yeah, I think you did. AHQ would be very proud.
Well, still, the turret is getting low. SMLZ, just perfect range on that. Oh! Ouch, that one hurt. Did he just emote before that one hit him?
Whoa, Flawless.
All right, Flawless. That's actually down to 200 health. Chieftain over the wall.
He misses.
Sidesteps the Void Seeker.
Yeah, if that P-Shooter had connected, Rek'Sai could have followed with the ultimate, so nice little sidestep from Flawless. But the question remains of what were you doing there in the first place to get completely chunked out by just the Taliyah?
It seemed like he was there to roam bottom first, but then he stayed and just tried to duel a Taliyah at range.
Yeah, a lot of it was also getting vision and control around the blue buff that's going to be spawning shortly and preventing BLG from getting ganks off bottom lane. As long as he's hovering in the area, then Rogue Warriors assume that they are going to be safe. And I think that's what matters most for them, because even if right now, as the blue buff is alive, BLG go over there and commit themselves to the blue buff. If Flawless can see it happening, that means that SMLZ can continue to push.
Now, not only is the blue buff alive, but this turret is undefended. Jin Zhao just completed his recall. Mole is spotted. That's Weaver's wall, and it just shorts the way to the distance. He clears the wave and keeps it standing, but that is a hair's breadth from falling.
It was only to clear the wave as well. He buys some time for Jin Zhao, and ultimately he'll go to his blue buff, so it wasn't the most inefficient ult usage you've ever seen from a Taliyah. But you also now need Jin Zhao to step up. If he doesn't press forwards in this lane, if he doesn't control the minions, then the turret's just going to fall regardless, and there is no Taliyah Weaver's wall to save them or to look for a counter gank.
And this is the opportunity. He's just finished off his Essence Reaver. SMLZ completed recall to pick up Gwynsu, so now is the time for Jin Zhao to pick up the pace for this. As Rift Herald is picked up by Flawless on the top side of the map, well aware of all of that focus from Chieftain and Mole on that bottom half. So things will still slowly start to pick up speed for the Rogue Warriors.
And I know it looks like there's still that consistent and persistent 1,000 gold differential towards BLG, but for the most part, the last 5 to 10 odd minutes of the map control has still aligned with Rogue Warriors. They've gone for the Ocean Drake, no trade. They've gone for the Rift Herald, still no trade. Chieftain has not really been anywhere to be seen. And he's even gone towards the Tiamat build, so he's trying to wave clear quickly and keep up with his respective opponent of Flawless here. But it hasn't paid dividends whatsoever.
Abyssal Voyage and the Chains of Corruption onto Jin Zhao, but here comes Doinby. Flawless is already in there as well, and they managed to catch up. That's the first kill to Rogue Warriors.
Kahlua bringing Flawless is something that nobody saw coming. The plot twist was there. SMLZ is able to hit the flash ultimate and they secure the kill on a Jin Jiao, and just like that, the turret will start to crumble. And what you would expect from Rogue Warriors has happened. The response from BLG, not to be seen at all.
They're pushing mid right now, trying to zone away both Mouse and Doinby, but there's not enough from BLG to get enough damage onto this turret.
And Mouse comes down. He just walks down, doesn't teleport, still has the teleport available, and Rogue Warriors have not stopped. Amazing J's gone back to base, and he's got a deep flank.
They're doubling down onto this. The tier 2 is being pushed by Rift Herald. Teleport from Mouse to further follow up. But look at how deep Amazing J is. This is the miracle flank, but he needs his team. He needs some form of damage. Jin Jiao's nearly in range. If he can stall this out, then that could be the curtain call, keeping Rogue Warriors in place, but AJ has to back away. He doesn't want to get pinned into the corner by the 2. Rogue Warriors get a lot of chip damage, and now they're chasing further away.
Hunting.
Mouse has got Mega. Doinby with Flash does not look for the taunt Shield of Durand.
Yeah, was threatening with the flash there. Make sure that BLG will go back, and they will back away. Mouse, Amazing J, no teleports to be seen from now on for quite some time, and that means that everything just dissipates and resets back to square one. And if that's just reset, well then the turret went over to Rogue Warriors, and still there was no real available trade. They got a Rift Herald charge off into the bottom lane as well. That is a stone's throw from Falling Kalua. He's caught.
This might be the trade they were looking for. Oh, missed that one.
That is a thick wall, to be fair. It has got some serious curves on it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to flash that unless you are hugging it.
That is definitely a Coke bottle of a wall. And while he's not able to make it over this time, that means BLG will actually get the chance to push bottom. Mouse cannot step forward with Amazing J on this bottom half of the map. SMLZ is trying to make it worth by pushing top, but BLG off of one pick might be able to equalize.
Yeah, and it's really good that they do get this equalization, and most of this as a result of Kalua dying, but in the end, it takes them quite some time to secure this, and during that time, SMLZ was already pushing. He was already 2 steps ahead. So what BLG get from the pick is a trade. And it's good that they do get the trade. It almost stops Mouse from being able to step up by himself and defend the 1v2.
It's gold in the pockets.
Yeah, it's a trade. If you're going to trade in a situation where you have no control, at least trade a little bit down.
You would certainly hope it's a trade. I mean, look at the vision on the bottom half of the map for BLG.
Well, it's Ocean 2.
They committed so much to try and take something after turning Rogue Warriors play. But Mouse is pushing all the way up to that very heavily damaged tier 2. And you're correct, it is that second Ocean Dragon that has just spawned. Will Rogue Warriors put some emphasis onto it right now?
There's no teleport from the Galio right now, so Doinby's not going to be able to join the team, and he's about to show himself in top lane. So BLG, if they wanted to, could very easily group up as 5 and try and force the Ocean Drake, but I don't think they feel the need to do so. In fact, that was even a Predator used by Flawless just to spook them a little bit and run in at a faster pace.
That does give river control back over to Rogue Warriors. The vision has just been reset, and now we can see nearly everyone grouped up in this mid lane. The only exception are Mouse and Flawless, who've started off the Dragon, Weaver's Wall, and AJ is hemmed into a corner.
He had to headbutt the wall, or the Weaver's Wall would have blocked him off from the rest of his team, so he chooses to reroute.
But they're not able to do this fast enough. Mouse and Flawless are actually pretty low health. Mouse is close to Mega. Dragon is secured by Mouse. There's no wall, but Mouse goes in.
Oh.
He's taunted at the last second. He's able to pin Road onto the side, but he's going to be knocked up. Road escapes. It's a fight on 2 fronts. AJ is soaking as much as he can. Mouse trying to escape, but the damage reduction allows him to survive for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, SMLZ finishes off AJ. No! Road, what did you do? He disables the curtain call. AJ will go down, and Rogue Warriors are just going to turn around and walk away.
They just get to walk away with no kills to be seen. BLG, constant executional problems are causing Rogue Warriors to just get lead after lead, maybe in situations where they shouldn't be. But they continue to go forwards. They even hold their mid lane turret. That's nothing short of a disaster. Even though it's a 1-for-0 trade, it could have been so much more.
It absolutely could have. The curtain was opened up. Jin Jiao had them in his sights, and death reigns from above.
Mouse, of course, does kick this fight off by being Mega now, trying to flash forwards, but the knock-up from Road was perfectly placed, even if it wasn't there to interrupt him. But the ult still connects, and now the zoning. A battle on 2 fronts with the tank. Mouse still being saved by Doinby. And during this time, Jin Jiao is ready. Oh, what are you doing, man?
Oh, God.
You can't just... The curtains were open. He was about to smash them. And you've just gone and done that.
It was opening night, and the show was canceled. rain check on this one as Road denies the turnaround from BLG. And if game 1 was a lesson in tilt for BLG, game 2, we'll have to hope they learned their lesson. Because this time it's not Chieftain who upsets it, but Road in the bottom lane. Still, though, it is only 2 for 2. It's only 1,000 gold for Rogue Warriors. And while they might be setting the pace, might be getting a little bit more.
That was some dial-up play.
There's plenty of chance to get back in dial-up play.
Yeah, you're on the phone, you're on the internet, and your mum uses the phone, and you're gone.
Oh, man. End of promos. That's why you use a wire, kid. No wireless to be seen. SLZ, it's a very hefty chunk there. And Rogue Warriors, okay. Yeah, they're still setting the pace here. They've got the double ocean. Next dragon is Infernal. Baron has just spawned, so there's a lot more incentive for the teams to control the top half of the map. We can see teleport for both top laners as we take stock, but it's BLG effectively using the 1-3-1 to try and defend and slow Rogue Warriors down.
Now remember, the gold difference is only about 1,000, so there's not a significant amount, as that was the wall that he unfortunately had. But's just trying to pressure them away, get some control of the area. Doinby has gone for the Sorelias as well, so he's pretty quick if he wants to speed everyone up.
They're trying to collapse. Rogue Warriors backing up into their turret. AJ bends around the corner. Fourth bullet will hit Kahlua for not a lot. Teleport actually canceled from Mouse, as Rogue Warriors think they can hold this 4v5, and turns out they can.
Yeah, I actually agree with the teleport being cancelled there as well. Reduce the cooldown just that little bit more. Amazing Jay used the ultimate to get to the area, so he still has the teleport there. But as BLG, they press forwards.
Yeah, they're trying to force something so aggressively. Killua is the target. He's chunked low. Mouse has grouped up, but it's AJ with the teleport advantage now. And still, BLG, they know they've got that teleport advantage. Will they try for another wave?
Mole is running rampant right now. He is constantly poking people off, flicking them towards his team and catching them out of position. Once again, tries to step forwards, utilizing that blue buff to the fullest. Rogue Warriors are finally here, though, as a grouping, as a collective to answer. It's getting pretty absurd how many flicks he's able to hit in a row.
Yeah.
I think the end result of this, however, is still that Rogue Warriors are in a very comfortable position as long as they start to get the teleports and the ultimates available once more. We may see 1 to 2 minutes of slow, more calm play from each respective team. I think the BLG are the ones who would be looking for a force sooner than the side of Rogue Warriors. The Scion ultimate is currently available once again. Jin Zhao's is getting closer to being ready. As long as Road isn't around him, I'm sure he'll be able to open the curtains.
just not here. Just go somewhere else. Go where? I don't know. Not here. Now, we did see pretty effective side lane control from BLG to set up for that play. Like you said, they've got that teleport. We're starting to see those cooldowns come back up as they've got all summoners. They just need to set up those side lanes one more time. But that means that Rogue Warriors have got the window to look for some items in the meanwhile.
And we haven't mentioned it in great detail yet or anything, but Doinby also has the teleport on the Galio. So the 1-3-1 possibilities of Rogue Warriors is still there as a composition. And even the fact that Mouse doesn't have teleport, he hovers towards the Baron side of the Rift, and he's still going to be relevant. Doinby has got the teleport. Now, the problem with this is that ideally you would still want Mouse to be bottom lane to teleport in with the Gnar, because Galio wants to come in with the ultimate first.
Yeah.
If he has to teleport, 3 odd seconds wasted where the ultimate isn't being used. And then if he has to use the ultimate straight afterwards, there's the channel time, and everyone's going to be disengaged by that point, or something will have gone wrong, you would assume, by that point.
And that's exactly what we see right here. AJ pushing bottom, BLG start to group up into that mid lane. But this time, Rogue Warriors seem to be prepared. They are already backed up to their turret, not overextended in that mid lane. Though that does mean they will sacrifice some vision in the river in front of that Baron. They've still got a control ward. They've still got a Baron gate ward to make sure that it's safe.
And oddly enough, I feel like the composition of BLG just lacks damage in the way of killing the tanks, so they can face check. If there's no vision in an area and Doinby just steps up, there's a very low chance that he will die, compared to if someone face checks a Varus on the other side. And Jin does do a lot, but not to what is just strictly going to be tankiness coming out of some of the members of Rogue Warriors. And Galio, of course, just having the W.
And this is where we look to the extended engage from BLG. Able to take the long fights against Rogue Warriors and try to kite them out. But Infernal Dragon has spawned.
Also just scaling into items.
Yeah.
Once they get 3 items, 4 items, BLG will be very equipped to kill everybody, especially the Talia. That's the member you have to look towards. I think Mole is the MVP here. But you mentioned the Infernal Drake. It seems to be a place of contention right now. No one looking towards control of the Baron area. Just wards that will remain dormant.
All 10 players are now grouped up within this radius. SMLZ is going to try and pick up red buff nice and quick as he's finished off his Blade of the Ruined King and another Zeal. Kahlua snipes away the Scuttle Crab and passes the gold over to SMLZ. Fun little trick there.
And this is curious from BLG. They put Mole bottom lane right now. I think he wants to split them off and use the Weaver's Wall, but he's just revealed himself clearing the wave. This gives Rogue Warriors the inside track if they'd like to move. Mid lane has already been cleared.
And the defensive
Mole was
Weaver's
terrified.
Wall. Mole sprints and runs, and that means that his team cannot exactly fight for this. They're going to try, though. Doinby and Mouse in the front line. Dragon already picked up. As Doinby forced to dash away. He's flicked back in, but it's flash from Mouse. He's going to be knocked up, and redemption for damage as they chase. Rogue dashes in. He finds knock up onto 2. Doinby in the back line trying to turn it around. He's got the damage. It's Rogue Warriors who have got the damage. 2 kills, and they continue to chase it down. They will lose SMLZ, but Jin Zhao is firing shot after shot. Amazing J drops down from that zombie form. And BLG, we're going to try to pin them against the wall. Mole and Jin Zhao snare onto Killua. The shove and the flick, another kill, but it's just peanuts compared to what Rogue Warriors just picked up.
They choose to sacrifice their support here, Rogue Warriors, to try and get out with most of their members left alive. And ultimately that fight happens, and you're looking at Mole and you're saying, man, I wish I had that Weaver's Wall right now, don't you? Because they could have actually just outright aced them potentially if things went to plan. He's still a 3-0-1 Talia. He's still playing these fights out incredibly well. It was just the execution before the fight, not knowing where Rogue Warriors are and assuming they were coming to get him.
And it seems like that fight echoed the theme of this entire game. Rogue Warriors taking small, minuscule advantages wherever they can get them and slowly expanding upon them, like compounding interest to try and accelerate their advantage. Even though BLG had won that fight, it just wasn't enough to really open the game up.
We get to watch the fight again. Doinby is actually the member that you'll have to be looking towards because the fight starts off with a lot of damage coming out onto Mouse. It looks like he's caught out of position. Again, another incredible flick from Mole. But Doinby with the flash taunt here to ensure that no one is able to follow up on Rhodes' engage completely diffuses the situation, keeps Mouse alive. But then SMLZ, he gets flicked as well. You could not have played this team fight better if you were Mole, besides the Weaver's Wall right now. But unfortunately, he doesn't have it, so they have to sacrifice just Killua. Means the rest of Rogue Warriors are able to walk away pretty much unimpeded.
Yes. The Rogue Warriors still trying to chase it down. Looking for the series win. They've got 3 Elemental Dragons. And 2 turrets to 1, still only 1,000 gold ahead. We look at the execution, we look at the compositions to really make up the difference between these two. But BLG still playing their side lanes pretty effectively. That's Amazing J pushing bottom as Doinby pushes a wave up top. But now that that neutral dragon is gone, attention turns to the Baron.
And just before the fight at the Infernal Drake happened, I briefly mentioned that BLG will probably want to get to 3 to 4 items. And Mole's there now, so he is actually very impactful at killing tanks as Road is just going to cleanse his way to safety. And I said that Mole is the most important member of the team. That is still true. Those flicks are one of the best ways to secure kills. You can interrupt Amazing J. People have been interrupting Amazing J. But the flick is the hardest thing to see in a cluttered team fight when there's tanks everywhere. And it also follows up with so much damage that Mole is actively looking at. So if it hits, he will hit. And he's got 3 items now to start shredding people's health bars.
Especially when you look at the low mobility carries for Rogue Warriors. Varus has to be saved by that Tahm Kench if he gets flicked in. Flawless, if he doesn't have that Ragnarok, he gets tossed into a group of 5 people. That is a dead Olaf. Zeke's Convergence or not.
Yeah. The other thing you also have to notice is that it's a Jhin. So whilst he will scale up to the late game and do damage, usually he's not in the front of a team fight, which is, again, Rogue Warriors need to kill Mole, and Mole's really important for killing them. So that's where the crux of most of the team fights will start to revolve around, as everyone starts to slow the pace of the game down and start to focus around their carries and their vision control and how they're going to set up for fights.
Still a 1,500 gold lead for Rogue Warriors as they just hold down the line. Rabadon's Death Cap was just picked up for Doinby, so he will absolutely hurt if he manages to find someone out of position. Flawless, he's been hunting this entire game with that Predator to zone and set up for his team. Also getting crucial slows in those team fights. And of course, this is, again, the first playoffs for Flawless. Previously a member of IME.
Yeah, formerly of the team that he is playing against, now known as Bilibili Gaming as well. So definitely a lot of pride on the line. He said he might be nervous coming into this set, but his first game looked quite clean, and now he's moved towards the second. He's on the Olaf. He's even gone towards a Zeke's Convergence to start putting it on his carries. I would love to see that on Doinby. but I assume that he'll pick SMLZ as they always do. And he has. You can see the arrow just above him.
Can you really expect anything else when you've got a 3-1-2 Varus with 3 items?
No.
Pretty strong, yeah, especially for empowering the auto attacks.
And SMLZ is one of the few Varus players that
actually caught that one there, and the Blade of the Ruin King. SMLZ.
Sunshine.
He's got red buff, so he'll heal up and Blade of the Ruin King for health.
But he doesn't have cooldown reduction for the ultimate that is now completely missing. And
yeah.
Road didn't have a cleanse. There was a chance that perhaps he was trying to force the cleanse out of him again. Road being one of the few engaging members of BLG's roster. If you don't have that cleanse available, there's a chance that your engage involves you dying immediately after.
Yeah.
Especially when there's no Xayah for the extra distance to get yourself to safety.
Though it is a little bit better, it's not quite as effective as otherwise. Mouse has now pushed up bottom. You can see the wave is being caught by Amazing J. What damage? SMLZ, where did that come from?
That's what the crit will do to you. He's still going to be okay again. Blade of the Ruin King's second item, so he's prioritized lifesteal and 2 Ocean Drakes. Right now,
And
SMLZ is playing with fire on purpose.
His team set to follow him up. Here comes Amazing J from the side. They've got themselves pinned to the wall. Who's the target? Killua soaks into the front. Mole pins them in from behind. Doinby looking for the 1v1, but Mouse gets flicked over to follow. Road dashes out, and Mouse has still found Mole. There is nothing this Talia can do. She dies, but it's still 5 versus 4. He doesn't have Flash, but he does have Mega.
He was looking for it, but they do back away. They choose to call it a day. Mole gets a flick to start the fight, does so much work. But the second he dies, everyone has to reset and back away. And that was looking so good for BLG until that point. And suddenly, the teleport's in from Doinby. They're set up to play. And they're still looking for those picks and those fights that they can generate.
30 seconds on the clock from Mole. You can see BLG starting to get a bit nervous with that Baron up. Ward over the wall, but it's cleared away, and it is being started out. Jin Zhao doesn't have Curtain Call. There's no big engage from BLG, but Chieftain level 12 to 13 of Flawless.
They're in.
It's a fight on the far side. Amazing J is forced to face tank it, and he dies as Mouse will find the kill. Road and Jin Zhao still firing. It's 10 seconds for Mole, but he has no way to get to the pit.
Now there's no Amazing J for 44 seconds. Doinby starting to get low. There's a lot of blinking health bars.
Chieftain, this is your moment. The rookie into playoffs. He's going to look for the tunnel over the side. He's got Flash. He's got Smite. He's been spotted. He flashes in. The engage on the front. They've managed to kill Doinby, as that's going to be Killua trying to save, but another kill as BLG are winning this. Baron has been picked up by Rogue Warriors, but Mouse is finishing off the members of BLG. They've got to back away from Mole, who finally groups, though, but that was a messy fight. Curtain Call to look for a few pickoffs, but Mouse happy to tank the shots for his jungler.
They'll be okay in the end, but there's so many people dead from both respective teams. BLG will look towards the mid lane outer turret. They may be able to open up the map a bit better from having this available, and they'll go towards the Ocean Drake. So it's still the Baron buff to Rogue Warriors. That could have been significantly worse for them if BLG were able to secure that one. Chieftain could not come up clutch enough. SMLZ immediately changes his target selection towards the enemy jungler and just tries to optimize his damage output to champions sooner rather than later. And I think that's a big part of what saves the day here. You will see what happens in the fight once again. Jin Zhao just kills Doinby. He hits the wall, headbutts the wall. Unfortunately, he's stuck out of position, but the engage from BLG is on multiple fronts. No one is stopping Flawless from contributing to the damage. And then he's able to get it done.
Yeah, Jin Zhao able to find SMLZ in that fight and take out the damage carry of Rogue Warriors, especially with Doinby dead, enabling his team to pick up those extra few kills off the back of it. That said, Baron still on 2 members of Rogue Warriors. Mouse has got it, and Flawless has got it. And Teleport is available for Mouse, so a 1-3-1 immediately set up by Rogue Warriors off the back of it.
And Flawless also has the itemization to be grouping with his team as the Olaf. He wants to be standing next to SMLZ, so utilizing that Baron buff effectively. And if Mouse has it, then he's set up to succeed in a side lane. Amazing J can't really deal with Baron minions, and so they send down Mole to be the member to clear them away. And even then, Talia, it's a depressing affair to try and clear Baron minions because of the worked ground.
Oh, 3 health left on that one. But it is still standing as Mouse backs away just a moment too soon. Infinity Edge finished off for SMLZ, means this next fight is going to be even more dangerous. Finally, they crash in following the minion wave. Amazing J takes initial aggro, but it's not enough. Finally, the tier 1 is broken. How much can BLG hold here?
It looks like they were willing to sacrifice the mid lane outer, but they do not want to give away the inner turret. Everybody groups in time for this one. Mole actually standing in front as well now, wants to be here, not looking for a flank, not looking for the Weaver's wall, but Rogue Warriors, of course, They still have a second Baron buff on their top laner, and you know that he's just gone towards that side lane where the turret is at 3 health. A bit more free gold for the roster, perhaps, if he's able to knock that one away.
There is a defensive ping, but again, that turret has 3 health. Did SMLZ just 3-shot a red buff?
I guess now is the time to mention, for those who don't watch the LPL, SMLZ always goes crit Varus. He always goes towards his crit carries. He does it on Kog'Maw as well. And he loves to scale up to the late game, and he's a major carry for the team. He also does not like overloading compositions with magic damage. Which is why, again, he will always go towards the crit builds.
Which is where you see the variety in Doinby, finishing off his Zanya's Hourglass. 30 seconds on the Baron. Flawless has got to provide the buff to these minions, though. Otherwise, they're just regular minions. They're being cleared out. He's actually flicked from the side, and the minion wave is effectively cleared out. That's a big 4th bullet onto SMLZ as it dances onto him.
Yeah, Dancing Grenade hitting him as well, so lots of damage still chunked on SMLZ, but he'll heal back to full on the next wave that crashes. Right now, the pressure is still mounting against BLG. That Zonia's that you mentioned before on Doinby, it enables diving. It enables the chance that they want to go forwards this time. Ragnarok into the backline and zone them away.
That's the Predator to try and push them back, but BLG do not flinch. They see the movement, they hold their ground, and they clear the minion wave. It's only 6,000 gold when the Baron wears off from Rogue Warriors. And while they have opened up more of the map, BLG, they've still got their high ground. They've still got a lot of room to maneuver with, and they're going to need it. Because look at that next Dragon Rusty. That's Elder coming up.
There was a chance that turret did go down in the end, but the Baron wore off. So they were able to disengage. And you're right, it is at around 6,000 gold, but that is still significant in the scope of things when you look towards Mouse in particular. He looks super far ahead of his opponent right now. In fact, he needs to probably get rid of that shield and start getting some control wards to continue along the split pushing trend. At the same time, the carries of BLG have got their items. They are still set to succeed. They are getting most of the farm that is around on the map. BLG still on the back foot, but they have the wave clear when there is no Baron buff pressing against them. They can hold for quite some time as a result of that.
BLG need to hold not only this turret, not only this ground here on the tier 2, but also emotionally stabilize. If they find themselves giving up this turret, giving up this game 2 perhaps as a result of it, that's a 2-0 deficit that they'll have to come back from. We know this is a team that can make miracles out of nothing. But wouldn't it just be so much better if they could win without having to resort to the Hail Mary? They're going to try to immediate cleanse from Mole. He's still chunked out so low. SMLZ happy to, but he trades his own health for it. Jin Zhao stepping forward. He's got the curtain call.
And it's good to get damage onto Mole. Most importantly, it's good to get the cleanse away. It doesn't mean that they'll get kills. In fact, it means that they have to back away. They will still, again, lifesteal Ocean Drakes will get him to full in the end. He's just playing with fire. You never see AD carries play like this. Just throwing the ultimate to chunk people out, to poke them away, perhaps force a single summoner spell. But because he's doing this moderately successfully, as in he hasn't died whilst doing it, they have advantages.
It's another small advantage. Mouse steps forward. He's got Mega. Let's see the zone control from BLG. Zone Rogue Warriors away. Doinby was on the side with that hero's entrance.
If Mouse can ever hit the Mega Gnar and get the combo going with Doinby, that will be nasty. Their damage output will be significant as well. And you've got that full AP Galio jumping in. The heroic entrance.
Baron is up in 1 minute. Elder is up in 40 seconds already. They're trying to set the control of this bottom half of the map. We can clearly see what Rogue Warriors have got their eyes set on.
They've also got sidewave controlled top lane. They're starting to set up bottom lane once again. They really are putting all of their focus towards the next big objectives that spawn. And because there's 20 seconds between the Elder spawning and the Baron spawning, there is always a window of opportunity to prioritize an objective and rush it down. But there is also an opportunity to send smaller amounts of resources towards the Drake. Perhaps BLG will assume that you're not going to be doing it. Now, if you're BLG in this instance, if Varus is ever missing, they're doing an objective.
Yes.
There is the one person on that team that if he is just not visible on the map, they're 100% hitting it.
And that's exactly what we see right now. It's immediately spotted out. Weaver's Wall will split the team in half, but the person on the other side is Doinby. He can join up, and they're still able to get into this. The wall needs to go down. Jin Zhao opens up.
It's chunked
Flawless
out.
is the target. Again, that Elder's at 4,000 health. Doinby's on the side. He's found Flawless, but he's forced to dash away as Mouse has found Mole. He's flicked back. Flawless forces the flash over the wall, but it's a fight on two fronts. Doinby goes in. It's carry versus carry, and they've completely repositioned. Chieftain is left all on his own. Doinby with the Zanyas is able to reset. Flick will toss him back in, but he's low health. Shield of Duran, and Doinby somehow still alive. Finally dies. Flash, knock up. Mouse is the target. He does still have
Mouse
that
has
Meganar
got
as
the Mega.
SMLZ. Managing to get a kill, but it's still not enough. 4 versus 4, and still Rogue Warriors want to fight this.
The dance continues once again. Doinby has got teleport if he's able to get back, but it's 40 seconds. He's not going to be here. Rogue Warriors, they are relying on SMLZ, and the Elder Dragon is a place that they have to continue to bait. They don't want a 4v5 disadvantage. They don't want to reset. They want to keep the pressure now.
Doinby has teleport in 30 seconds. Road does not. If they drag this out long enough, their mid laner could be here, but they're going to try and turn and burn. Target's going to be the Elder Dragon. It's picked up. BLG have got it. SMLZ going to try and get kills off the back of it as one jungler has been traded. He sidesteps. AJ tracking him down. Mouse with the slam, but he goes down. And now it's 2 versus 3. Curtain Call off of cooldown has found Killua. He's slowed, but will escort SMLZ to safety, and Rogue Warriors did not win that fight.
Yeah, Jin Zhao picks up the Elder Dragon. So much damage out of the AD carry of BLG. And the fact that he's able to secure that one means that they go straight over to the Baron, and they should set themselves up for another fight around this objective. You would expect it's secured, you would expect that it's free, but knowing Rogue Warriors, they're always going to look.
That's a Weaver's Wall to zone Rogue Warriors away, but Doinby is on the other side. He doesn't have flash and turns and dashes away. Scryer's Blue misses. SMLZ does not get it. He's immediately targeted by Road. Chieftain is low, and Road dashes out while Chieftain tunnels to safety. Oh! Piercing arrow with the snipe.
Lots of damage to follow it up, but the Baron's still secured. They are taking casualties constantly, but the casualties don't mean the BLG are losing the game. It's just a bit more pressure in the middle lane. They may break down this structure and have to back away. The end result is still in favor of BLG, especially if they can make something happen with this objective. This game has gotten really intense really quickly, and now we're starting to see that moment in the game where it will break open in one team's favor, and BLG are the ones that have the higher chance of it breaking open for them.
Put 3 minutes on the clock, Rusty, because that's how much time BLG have got to play with this tempo, play with this lead that they've got. And look at SMLZ's build. He just sold boots for a bloodthirster. He's all in about burning through the tanks and carries of BLG.
He's actually committed to standing still.
Yeah.
So that is the SMLZ way of life, if you don't. He's got Killua on the Tahm Kench next to him, so the idea is that instead of having boots, instead of going for like a Trinity Force or something that has move speed in the itemization, he's got Bloodthirster to have a second lifesteal item because he legitimately will not move. He will stand on the spot, and it is Killua's responsibility to understand that the only direction he has is forwards.
Yeah.
You just have to decide when to stop him from doing damage.
And this is where we look to the rookie support of Rogue Warriors, Killua, his first time in the playoffs, to keep his team composition in this game, to keep that Varus alive, but double Baron cannons firing across, break down the tier 2. Flawless is the target. He eats a knockup, but he's nice and tanky at this point.
Remember that the carries of Rogue Warriors are very low range. They're against the Jhin with Elder Dragon, who will practically one-hit them, and a Talia whose shove range is longer than their auto attack. So it is so difficult to navigate siege scenarios if you're Rogue Warriors against BLG's lineup.
That's Predators and Shirelias to get Rogue Warriors to swing back aggressively.
Look at the side lanes. They've got top lane pushing, they've got bottom lane pushing. They're actually controlling most of the map. BLG put themselves in the middle lane. They didn't take any precautions or set up on those side waves. And you note that when the Baron was secured by BLG, Amazing J just walked mid. He has the teleport. He is the Scion with the ultimate even as well. But instead of going towards other places on the map, they said, okay, we've got 3 minutes. We have advantage for team fighting. We're not going to set up side lanes. We are going to run at you 5v5, and you cannot stop us.
That said, the Elder Dragon has worn off by now from BLG, so they've only got that Baron buff for another 60 seconds. With the waves pushed out as they are, it seems like Rogue Warriors have weathered a majority of the storm.
And that's the risk of doing what BLG did.
Yeah.
They took the risk of saying we are going to group, and they only get 1 turret from it. That's not a massive gain for them. What it has done is it's reduced the gold difference to 3,000 total, and they're still hunting.
Oh, Rogue Warriors are in a very narrow pit. They've got a blast cone to try and escape. Weaver's Wall and Curtain Call hemmed them through Tribush. But that was very dangerous. All it took was a little bit of AoE.
They've committed to top lane when mid is being pushed. They have to go back to base. Amazing J, I'm surprised he doesn't want to try and stop them, but it is risky.
4-man recall. Make that 3. Doinby's actually doing the Krugs right now. Might cancel Mouse's recall.
He was trying to stop the Krugs from cancelling the recalls, but it doesn't mean the BLG are going to persist. They're not going to continue pushing forwards. In fact, it's just a reset. We now look towards the next major objectives, or if a pick can happen. So there is a cleanse on Road, there is a cleanse on Mole, there is a QSS on Jinjiao. Varus ultimate, no longer going to be able to find anyone other than a Sion or a Rek'Sai. And to me, you just kill Chieftain. You try and catch Chieftain out of a position, get the Varus ultimate off, and lock him down before a fight happens.
Holy cow, that Varus does a lot.
Yeah.
He really does.
If he's ever hitting someone, I feel like in a front-to-back fight, you would very much rather have SMLZ than Jin Zhao for killing tanks.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Jin, not exactly known for his tank shred, though he did itemize for it. Has himself the Lord Dominix. And with Elder Dragon going to spawn shortly and another Baron shortly thereafter, we're looking for that next big objective, though. BLG on the prowl, trying to slip under the vision of Rogue Warriors. They find themselves in the exact opposite position Rogue Warriors were in just a minute ago.
Yeah, now it's red buff seems to be... Oh my god, there was once a red buff in that general area.
Flawless takes some big damage from Mole. 6 items on that Talia.
Each AD carry auto-attacked once.
And it was
the
dead.
Red buff died.
Yeah.
But Jin Zhao doesn't get it because he attacked first and did 2,000 damage. So they do reset. They go back towards mid lane. We are 46 minutes into this game, and it feels like they're constantly fighting.
That's Shirelia's. Doinby zones them into the corridor.
Varus ulted.
That was also the chain of corruption. Mouse is trying to block off the turnaround, and Mole still has that Weaver's Wall if you were to try and split Rogue Warriors up.
Amazing Jay's trying to control the minion wave, but he's now separated himself. So Rogue Warriors, you can see how aggressively they're now pushing forwards. They know there's no Sion. That wall actually splits them in half.
That's the one. Mouse still trying to find entry. Amazing Jay forced a batter award in the meanwhile. Finally the wall goes down, but BLG used that timing to get back into the correct position and defend.
And this time around, it's not Rogue Warriors that have side lane control. In fact, they are the ones that now need to try and be very careful. Look at top lane. The minions may actually just break the toad of their own accord right now, because there are so many there.
Doinby's on his way, but it's 75 seconds before Elder Dragon and Baron spawn. They're on synchronized timers right now. A fight as Killua is caught out along with SMLZ. Rusty, this is huge.
It's massive. They found the pick onto the bottom lane, so now it's just wave clear duty. It's holding the fort. This may be a sacrifice of a Baron or an Elder Dragon, and it's the second Elder for BLG.
Flawless.
It's 1 minute.
Has been spotted. He Ragnarok and rolls out of there. But BLG, they've still got, as you said, nearly a full minute to try and push. Doinby, he's got a lot of wave clear, but this is a lot to defend.
Yeah, they can't actually defend this. They're going to have to sacrifice the inhibitor. It would not be a second as long as they all stay alive. But because of this, there's been no time for Rogue Warriors to actually place Vision down. This is aggressive.
They don't have any minions here. Mole steps forward. And Flawless on the side, pops a trap, 20 seconds. Now Abyssal Voyage from Killua and SMLZ can get them back out onto the map very quickly.
Yes, and they'll be alive in time to get close to the objective using that Abyssal Voyage, if nothing else. But this means that Rogue Warriors, as a 3v5, are about to face check. We get to see how they get caught out of position. That's Road. That is vastly different to his Morgana. It is so much better to watch him playing that Rakan. Actually, they've decided to trade here.
Baron being started by BLG, Elder Dragon by Rogue Warriors. Which one of these buffs will be more effective in the next few minutes? Because that's Baron, and that's Elder Dragon.
And normally you would look at the Elder Dragon and say, this is where we're going to go because BLG have 2 of them.
Yes.
We can't afford to give them a second Elder Dragon buff. That would be game-ending levels of strong. But they're also still a 3-dragon side. So the Elder Dragon buff that they get for themselves is quite impactful. And now we're at the maximum almost amount from the Baron buff as well with the buffs that it provides. AP and AD scaling, of course, over time. One of the later changes that we've implemented.
Yeah.
It is well and truly game impacting.
Whoever took that Gathering Storm is probably going to be feeling pretty good about that choice right about now. As we get to the 50-minute mark in just about 60 seconds. Middle inhibitor is down, so Rogue Warriors are going to try and control this lane, but 3 minutes on Baron. Teleport is ready for Amazing Jay.
It's just so perfectly, captures what both of these teams are as an essence. We're at 49 minutes because BLG are winning. And in the first game, it was 24 minutes because Rogue Warriors had the lead. That's just the style, the flavor you see of them. And Rogue Warriors are happy to take the 5v5s. They're happy to take the team fights. Their average game time is 31 minutes. They know how to accelerate a game and snowball a game. But when they're losing, they do sometimes get caught out of position. And that's all BLG are waiting for.
Just those tiny mistakes, those tiny slip-ups. BLG still trying to recover from that Game 1 loss. This could very well decide the momentum of the entire best of 5. If Rogue Warriors win this Game 2 in a 50-minute slugfest like this. Whereas if BLG are able to take this, that could be all the momentum they need to get back into it. Flawless steps up. Shirelli is still on cooldown. Mouse with Flash and Mega. But BLG just stay nice and huddled. They don't try to get close to any walls. They don't let themselves get picked off.
The Mega is about to subside, so BLG now get an opportunity to push forwards. It's about to go away in front of them, and Na's about to be tired. So the momentum swings back the other way, and minions with Baron buff are very hard to clear. But buying time is Rogue Warriors. Their top lane is set up very nicely. It's about to push, and in fact, BLG are going up there. This now gives an opportunity to go bottom lane if you're Rogue Warriors, reset the entire map, as we are looking at the AD.
1142. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
You might be looking at the bottom left and saying he only has 114 damage. That's not a lot.
That's not it, no.
No, you're just missing a number. It can't be seen.
10 times that. And still, BLG maneuvering around the map. They're going to look for the tier 2. They catch the wave. Flawless tries to clear it out. SMLZ and Mouse are not there to defend. And another turret is broken. BLG slowly opening up the map. Weaver's wall.
Nicely placed as well. This gives a really good entry, but they don't have the minions there. So whilst it was placed well, hey,
Flawless is able to sneak through.
That was cheating. But the point being, it was nice, it was a good wall, but it was very poorly timed.
Yes.
So they do get a chance to push forwards their Rogue Warriors to clear the wave, and the wave was already gone, which means the BLG have to go back. We have, once again, we're at 51 minutes in the game, we get a full reset opportunity, full item purchases to be seen. If someone wants to sell their boots, now is the time. Remember, hold your peace.
Well, it seems like we just saw that. Jin Zhao just sold his. Static Shiv is the pickup. And Rusty, this time, the Baron and the Elder Dragon are going to be staggered by about a minute because they were taking it roughly the same time between the two.
You know, most importantly, it is a second Elder for whoever gets
it.
We both have one apiece. There is no way that this Elder does not end the game. A Jin having, oh my god.
A crit for 2,500 on a Scuttle Crab. That poor River Shen.
Just imagine it with 2 Elders.
Ooh, yeah. Even more. But the team's repositioning around the map. Take a look at the Splinter Cell down in the bottom lane. Mole and Amazing J perhaps trying to get behind Rogue Warriors, but no, they group up. Look for the 5v5 instead. Don't want to take any risks getting caught out of position this late into the game. I mean, constant Predator usage from Flawless.
The biggest risk that Rogue Warriors took was in draft phase by going for the Varus. In my opinion, it could have been any other AD carry, but they choose to have the Varus Talmkench duo try and unlock them, you know, rotate around the map, use the Abyssal Voyage. Because we're this late in the game, we are 52 minutes into the game, about to crest over to 53. The Varus just low range. Like, we'll be doing a lot of damage, isn't your traditional on-hit build, we've mentioned that already. But it's still a super low-ranged AD compared to what is the Talia shove range, and the tank standing in front of him with the Scion in this case, the engage even from Road constantly knocking out what is a low-ranged AD. And he hasn't gone for a Mercurials. He hasn't gone for a QSS. He is maximizing his damage output to circumvent the fact that he is going to be a bit weaker in the late game. And he is relying so wholly on Kahlua.
The newcomer to Rogue Warriors, the rookie support. That's a trust fall if ever I've seen one.
And Kahlua doesn't have a QSS.
Yeah.
So what if the Rakan hits both of them, Dom?
He's got the locket.
But what if
they stack up? That's double shields.
You really think the locket's going to stop a Jin's 2,000 crit from chunking him out, though?
Oh, boy. Probably not. Blue buff picked up final recalls. What could be final recalls at this point? 54 minutes into the game. Baron's up in 90 seconds.
We're also at a point in the game where control wards don't exist for anyone bar supports. So there is now going to be 6 control wards seen total in the inventories of each respective team. And there is 2 on the map for only Rogue Warriors. So they're currently the only ones equipped to have more controlled vision around the Rift, unless someone goes back to base and sells an item for a control ward, which is never going to happen.
I mean, we've got 2 for BLG by their red buff, but tragically that is not a... oh, Road. Whoa. Hey there.
take that one away. That was super cute.
Yeah, tragically, that red buff not going to be quite as impactful as the second Elder Dragon.
They have one control ward in the river, which is going to be super relevant. The other two are defensive, and if there's a chance that the fight happens around there, then that's fantastic, and they know that they'll have vision control, but it also means that Rogue Warrior should not be stepping up for that. What it does mean, though, is that sweepers are more valuable. You'll have less blue trinkets, less yellow trinkets, and more sweepers in general, as they are the new way to clear vision pretty much exclusively.
SMLZ, that was really a trust fall. Killua was not close, and you were walking up to a Rakan. This time, they're trying to control that mid lane.
You never know when Road and SMLZ face off against each other if the team is behind them. They're always stepping forwards at inappropriate times and also at the correct time. So it's a guessing game every single moment.
Also, I love how Rogue Warriors just positioned towards the Baron as it respawned. Then they realized 70 seconds later Elder Dragon is up, so they started rotating back down to the bottom side, but back against the wall. Piercing Arrow doesn't quite catch that last minion.
We call that mid lane control and mid lane priority as the most important part here. If you don't have mid, then you will lose inhibitors.
Ooh, curtain call. They found Killua and SMLZ. Road tries to step forward. And the team is split up. Flawless standing in the front. But look at where Mole is. Mole is on the side. He's found them. He's found SMLZ. Does he have enough damage to kill him, though?
No, but they lose mid lane priority, Dom. SMLZ also has to go to Gromp for health. That was very dangerous. The vision control from BLG almost enabled them to get a big play off. They'll reset. Baron's still the focus, and it is being hit.
Yeah, look at the lack of vision from Rogue Warriors. Flawless is trying to kite around this. He's split from his team on the blue buff, but Rogue Warriors finally group back up as 4. Elder Dragon's up in 20 seconds, but they're skirmishing over the Baron right now. Chieftain's over the wall, taking a few hits. Flawless is soaking damage from this Baron. That's the Predator. They turn onto the back line. Do they have enough to kill it? Chieftain is dead immediately. Massive burst from SMLZ.
The flash forwards from Doinby is what enables this kill to happen. Now Doinby is not on vision. He's going to try and play clean, maybe find Mole.
And Mole is behind SMLZ. Here comes the save. That's the hero's entrance. He's trying to get that Baron's around. He found Jin Zhao and destroys him. Baron picked up an almost flawless fight from Rogue Warriors as they take the first 2 objectives. Meanwhile, BLG are just running for their lives, but this could be game.
They've got the Baron. They have got 3 people dead on their opponent's side. Mole is routed. He doesn't really know where to go. He's being hunted constantly.
That's the shield. He cleanses up, but doesn't have anything to do, as that will be Rogue Warriors finding the fight against BLG and just outplaying them.
And they should be able to walk forwards now. They've got so much time to work with. Go towards the Nexus. The teleports from the tanks are there. They don't need the Elder Dragon to win. They just need to hit late game and trust in their abilities.
Absolutely. You can see it in Jin Zhao's face. He knows it. You know it. I know it. The game is over. Rogue Warriors are up to match point to go to the semifinals.
And I cannot stress this enough, that was not SMLZ winning the game, that was Killua. I have never seen a Tahm Kench Devour look as clean as what we just saw in that last team fight, and God, I hope we replay that again, as the timing was picture perfect.
Scoops him up, then flashes to carry the Varus into melee range of Jin with no flash.
Doesn't just scoop him up, scoops him out of the Talia seismic shove and the Rakan engage at the same time.
An excellent play from the rookie support of Rogue Warriors now puts them 2 games up in this series, at the verge of a 3-0 sweep over Bilibili Gaming. And though it was a long, drawn-out affair, we saw some excellent stabilization from BLG after their Game 1 defeat. It's going to be one heck of a mountain for BLG to climb if they want to try to get back into this series. Look at that gold difference.
We saw 2 Barons apiece, 1 Elder Dragon apiece, and still BLG with those advantages could not find themselves with the tools to just outright end the game. They were super cautious, they didn't know how to step up, and they were looking so hard to get picks, and I feel like this is where it comes all back around one more time to the Rek'Sai and to the draft of BLG in specific. I love the Talia choice. I love the Jin choice for each respective player. They are so good on those. I think that Road should stay with Rakan as well because it is best for him. But there are other things, like why not go for the Xayah with the Rakan if that's an opportunity for yourself? Why not have the duo to empower Road further? And more importantly, why go for the Rek'Sai? And why not earlier rotation of a jungle and have a higher priority champion in that role? Because when we hit late game, Olaf's not going to do a lot, Rek'Sai's not going to do a lot, but I felt like the Olaf still did more just by having supportive items.
It seemed like you could see the trade-off in how Bilibili played that game in terms of finding stable footing with champions that they're actually comfortable with. They showed they could actually compete with Rogue Warriors on the long-term scale, but it was that final pick that just upset the game.
And I do think they should continue to stick with comfort. I think that the strategic elements of their composition should be more linear coming into the next games.
Well, we'll see what it's going to be. It's time for our analysts to break down that 57-minute slugfest.
Thank you so much, Dom. And as you said yourself, it was a long game. So we're going to go jump right into these replays and take a look at exactly what happened. We're going to start with this Elder Dragon fight right here, because honestly, this seemed like where it started in this game. It was the second start of the game.
Yeah, BLG finally got on the school bus. They decided that they wanted to participate, come to play today, and at 41 minutes into a series, when you finally feel that both teams have stepped up to play, you're already on the back foot from that position.
And it turned into a hero performance from Jin Zhao, already getting himself the kill in that instance, and of course saving the last bullet just to be able to secure Elder Dragon. So that's very difficult for the enemy team to try and outsmite it when you have Smite, and of course fourth bullet from Jin to be able to secure it.
Yeah, and it should be noted that so far this series, Jin Zhao has been almost picture perfect. You know, having the Caitlyn Morgana, playing out that 2v2 lane really well, and then also trying to hard carry BLG in game number 2 with the Jin pick.
While we're talking about the Jin pick before we get to compositions, just talking about how much AD he had at the end there. He was critting for an insane amount. He had over 1,140 AD. He was getting all that from the passive. Like, this was literally the thing keeping him in the game. But let's start talking about the compositions here, because I know both of you guys were very critical of the BLG draft.
Where do you want to start, Raz?
Oh boy, okay. Let me start with what's good with the BLG composition, because I thought that the Taliyah pick, Jin, both of those are fine if you want to go towards a bottom lane focus. That's great. I'm behind you on that one. Rek'Sai, there's a little bit of a focus. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm down for it just because it's an early game jungler that creates a good enough vision control bottom side. Where's the Rakan coming from? Rakan and Jin are just the worst bottom lane duo you could run in that situation, especially going up against Varus and Tahm Kench, the best or at least the best tank in which that he can just focus on trades. So you're getting completely pushed in, out-traded, and then Taliyah has no access to the bottom lane because she recognizes that the 3v3 is not going to be within their favor if Galio is going to immediately follow up.
And here's the thing, if you watch how this draft was picked, that was still Sion, Jin, Rek'Sai is the first 3 picks for BLG. They had access to Sejuani, they had access to Xayah. I mean, just echoing what Rusty just said on cast, if you're going to go for the Rakan, why are you not picking up the Xayah right there to empower that pick further? Like, I understand that they're going to comfort. His name is Jin Zhao. Yes, it means the golden horn, but he is also a phenomenal Jin player. We know that Road likes to play Rakan. Taliyah is one of Mole's best champion, but this isn't solo queue. This is a competitive 5v5, and that comp is like worthless post 35 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm not the type to criticize composition so heavily just because game 1 I thought was great composition from BLG and it came down to execution. This game was just really about focus. What did they want to focus on as a team? Because it wasn't going to be the early game if they recognized that the RW composition was going to be outright hammer them down in level 6. It just ended up having to be wait for Jin to scale and see if they can get for proper picks, and it was turning out that way, and it just came out like that just based off desperation.
I mean, based on both your points, like to jump in here, like why did this happen then? Because if they don't have any scaling past 30 minutes and the game turned online at 40 and we saw the rest of that game, how did we get there? Why was the composition still able to get into the game?
Well, why they were able to scale up?
Yeah.
Well, it was simply because they were able to utilize the Taliyah wall very well when they were attempting to siege. We probably saw 2 good Taliyah walls in the entire game where you blocked off the mid lane. So holding red side Raptor ramp, especially against a Baron, is still fairly easy with the composition that they had, because again, the access and the utility that Jin and Taliyah are going to provide you, it's still a pick composition or has pick elements to it. So Rogue Warriors didn't try to force hard enough to really snowball the game and close it, which allowed Jin to scale up and find that massive damage. But kind of going holistic and all the way back, this is some of the weirdest play from BLG I've ever seen. If you haven't been watching BLG the entire split, they almost never run compositions like this, and they almost never play like this. Like, they play a lot of these champions, but never together, and I just don't know where their strong 5v5 AoE wombo combo identity is.
Yeah, it was very similar to what Snake provided yesterday in terms of just coming into a best of 5.
Completely different face.
Showing a different face, and this time it's also similar to Snake because they're starting to falter in that regard. I think that, hitting on to your question, the reason why it got elongated was just because I still thought that BLG had better base timings this game relative to Rogue Warriors. Still finding proper picks. There was one opportunity when they found both Rogue Warriors' bottom lane just caught out, so they were able to get 2 kills immediately afterwards, and then they were able to get a pick onto Flawless immediately afterwards. So there's weird situations for Rogue Warriors getting caught out when they could have just kind of played it safe, come back onto the map, and played as a 5-man.
Last point before we move on, Trosk.
There's also just not a lot of hard CC or non-committal CC from Rogue Warriors that if they did find an advantageous situation to continue to force the tempo of the game. You know, they don't have the Sejuani, they basically have Tom Kench, and he's got to find an Abyssal Voyage.
Sure, and we need to take a look at that, what happened in-game with that composition, right? Because we're looking for the 5v5 wombo combos, but we didn't really see that come to fruition. We still had great plays from Jin, but as we rolled the final team fight right here, it's not going to be all of it, but it just demonstrates the difference between what BLG usually run and what we saw here today.
I mean, the fact that Chieftain gets... Oh, wait, this isn't the last team fight. This is the second to last one. Nope, Chieftain's already dead. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I will say this, the one thing that I wanted to see out of Rogue Warriors was that grouping factor. Playing around the Galio ulti, playing towards the Baron fight. Ultimately, they get the victory here just because he was able to get that much more damage across, no boots, 6-item Varus, and he was able to get protected with that Galio.
Yeah, front to back, SMLZ looked fantastic, but ultimately he's always the linchpin of the strategy anyway. He's the guy that has all the resources funneled into him, and what he outputs is great, but it honestly is a team effort.
We're literally just looking at a scenario there where one team is actually just showing up to play. I cannot emphasize enough how much like BLG completely look out of sorts. It'd be one thing if it was BLG at their best versus Rogue Warriors at their best. They go head to head. You have no idea who's gonna win this. This like BLG is not on Summoner's Rift.
Exactly. I mean, the most bizarre thing is like from form, we saw that Rogue Warriors at the end of the split did not look good, and BLG just a couple days ago looked fantastic. So there's complete flip here. Not sure what's going on, but we'll have to see if they can recover, because this is now match point as we go to this break.